CSK will be pulling their hair out. That was a game that they should have penciled in at the start of the year, thinking we're going to win on the Hyderabad pitch. The conditions are conducive to our team. Well, where's the game won and lost? There were many areas where it was, but I think the crucial moment was in the fourth over of both innings. Bhuvneshwar Kumar bowling to Ravindra. The over before, he controlled him by just bowling into that body, not allowing him to free the hands. The next over, he knew that Ravindra had to take a risk at this moment because the Chennai Super Kings dugout would be thinking, right, we've planned. We know that it's going to be slow in the back end. It's going to be hard to score. So we have to make the most of the power play. Bhuvi's reading it beautifully. He sees Ravindra come out. He bowls a short one wide, knowing that Ravindra is looking for that close one, wanting to go over the leg side. Well, it's not in the hitting arc. He's got to chase it, and instead of taking it over the covers, he's decided to still take it square leg. He can't control it. Top edge, he's out. Bhuvneshwar Kumar ends up for one off that particular over. If we go over to the Sunrisers batting time, in the fourth over there, Markram against Tekshana. It's the third ball. He knows that he's got to find a boundary. He knows that he's got to keep the momentum because it's going to get tough in the run chase out in the back end. So he takes a risk. He charges down the wicket and he tries to go over mid-off. He mistimes it. It goes in the air between mid-off and cover. If it went to hand either way, he's out. The pressure's on the rest of Sunrisers Hyderabad batting lineup where they're vulnerable in that middle order. But he gets away with it. Then he takes a risk the next ball. Top edge sweep over deep backward square. Then Tekshana in the last ball is under pressure, bowls a full toss, and that's 11 runs off the over. So the fourth over of both innings was where the momentum could have changed either way, and Sunrisers Hyderabad had the better of the momentum shift in those particular overs. Now let's go through the Chennai Super Kings batting performance. Up front, I just thought in the first 6 overs, Ajinkya Rahane, should I say, and Gaikwad did not take enough risk against Bhuvneshwar Kumar. They allowed him to control proceedings. He was just operating on a good length, slight changes of pace on the top of off stump, just outside off stump. It wasn't until the last over where Gaikwad took the risk off the last ball, going back over his head off a good length. Should have been doing that a lot earlier, because what you're doing there, if you get away with a couple of boundaries and you get a big over off Bhuvneshwar Kumar, all of a sudden Sunrisers Hyderabad captain's got to think, do I bring someone else on? Do I take my trump card away right now? Because everyone knows that Bhuvneshwar Kumar is basically going to bowl 3 overs up front if he's allowed to. So Pat Cummins was not put under pressure there. I'd like to make special mention of Dubey. I really love the way that he has come of age down there in yellow. His strike rate with other teams was very poor, but down there he's growing a leaf. He's making big scores as well as a high strike rate, but he's scoring on both sides of the wicket. He's able to produce boundaries with the cut shot, driving over the covers, driving over mid-on, straight down the ground, the pull shot. I'm really loving the growth of Dubey. But the Sunrisers Hyderabad bowlers were sensational. The quicks, especially with their slower balls, the utilisation of that on all 3 lengths, the good length, the short ball, as well as the Yorker, it was just great execution. They did not allow the Chennai Super Kings batsmen to take control at any stage. Chennai were very lucky to get to the total that they did. When we go over to the Sunrisers Hyderabad innings, Chahar is bowling to head. Dropped another easy catch-out first slip in this IPL. I can't believe it. Ali's the culprit here. Everyone says, oh, that didn't make a huge difference in the game. Well, it did. Travis Head got a 6 off the last ball. All of a sudden, the pressure is off Abhishek Sharma the next over to really have to explode. The pressure is on Chowdhury, a bowler who hasn't bowled in this IPL, a bowler that's looking for that opportunity. All of a sudden, he's thinking, oh, it could have been 1 for 1 at the end of that over, and I could have the pressure on Abhishek Sharma here with Markram out the other end. And we know that they've got a brittle middle order. How are they going to play? Are they going to change their game plan? All of a sudden, Chowdhury bowls a beautiful swinging delivery, Abhishek Sharma plays with freedom, straight down the ground. It was slightly overpitched. All of a sudden, Chowdhury's under pressure. He continues to bowl with pace on, and he's hidden in the hitting arc of Abhishek Sharma, who's able to take 27 runs off that particular over. Any stage did Chowdhury change the pace of the delivery? He just bowled with the same pace the whole over. Now, that's fear in his body. That's the concern of, will I have the opportunity of playing the next game? This is an opportunity that I've got to take. He put too much pressure on himself. We've all been there. We've all been there. I've been there. But that's one thing that the coaching staff will talk to him about afterwards and go, look, mate, you put a little bit too much pressure on yourself. Next time when you're playing there, make sure you try and think clearly. And if you think that you've got to do a change-up, bowl the change-up. It didn't happen. Then the next over, Abhishek Sharma continued his display against Chahar, but great work from Chahar, changing. I think the second ball was a slower one where Abhishek was able to find the boundary, and then he thought, right, I've got to change it up here. Puts out deep point, but behind square rather than in front of square, and bowls a wide, quicker one where Abhishek Sharma can't control it in front of square. It goes in the air behind square, easy catch out deep. Great piece of work there from Chahar, great thought, but also great batting from Abhishek Sharma. It was a cameo little innings, and it took the pressure off the rest of the batting lineup moving forward. But I've also have to have a special mention of Markram as well, taking those risks in the power play, as I mentioned against Texana earlier. If he got out in that particular power play, Chennai Super Kings, with their spin department and with the way that the wicket was holding up, would have won the game easily. I also just want to make special mention of Markram applying that pressure on that particular over. Chahar later on, I think it was the fifth over, comes in the first ball and looks for the Mankad against Markram, who's in his crease and controlled in his crease. That just showed me that Chennai Super Kings, the bowlers, were vulnerable under pressure. And then when you look out the rest of the innings, the spinners bowled exceptionally well in the middle overs, but you look at the pace attack, they did not adjust to the conditions as well as they should have. They didn't do what Sunrisers Hyderabad bowlers do, and that's the change of pace with the slower bounces, the slower good length, and the quicker Yorkers. They could not execute. So Chennai Super Kings, they've got a lot to think about moving forward because they've just lost a game that they should have won with the conditions suiting them on an away fixture. You've got to win the odd away fixture if you want to play in the playoffs out the back end. So they'll be screaming about that, and they'll be worried about playing KKR back home in a couple of days' time, where KKR have got two fantastic spinners as well as a very dominant powerhouse batting lineup that could put pressure on CSK. CSK are vulnerable against KKR on their home soil, and if they don't win that game, all of a sudden they're out the crossroads for this season. When you look at Sunrisers Hyderabad, yes, they've had a couple of good wins out home, but they do have their flaws. Their middle order is vulnerable, and their spin attack is not of high quality. Those are the two areas where they're vulnerable. They're off to play the Kings next. If the Kings can exploit that, then all of a sudden, Sunrisers Hyderabad and Chennai Super Kings a little worried at the front end of the season. Thanks for my review. Hoggy out.